Welcome to the Habit Tracker spreadsheet tutorial. So the first thing that you're going to see when you click the link that I shared with you on the PDF file is this window where it's going to ask you permission to copy the document. Um, don't worry about this warning here. It's just because the spreadsheet uses AppScript for some functionalities on the habit tracker that I'll explain later. But for now, we just have to click on make a copy and it will directly create a copy of the template that I just shared with you. So you're gonna get access to the spreadsheet as soon as you click the copy link button. And first, before we start explaining how it works, I wanted to show you that there's only one visible page in this habit tracker template. But if you click on these three lines, you will see that there's two pages actually. There's this setting page that is hidden because you won't need to edit anything in this page. So it's better if you leave it hidden because you won't need it. Um, so going back to this main dashboard, you can use it by itself for all the months and all the years that I'm going to show you. But if you want to create a copy for each month so that you have so you can save the results of each month, what you can do is create a copy or duplicate this main page, and that way you will have a copy and you can rename it and start fresh for a new month. So for example, if you wanted to create a copy, you will click with the right button and then you will see the duplicate button and you will create a copy of the habit tracker that you can name after the month you're gonna be using it or however you prefer. So going to the main dashboard to explaining how it works. So one important detail that I wanted to share with you before we start explaining how it works is that most of the cells in this spreadsheet are protected. That means that if you're going to edit any of them, for example, let's say in this one that's here in the middle, we want to write something. When you write something and you want to save it, it will warn you because you're not meant to edit that cell. So if this pops up, you just click on cancel. The only cells that are not protected are the ones that you might want to edit, such as these cells on the list, on the weekly list. You can freely write or delete your habits here. And then the checkboxes are also not protected so that you can mark them or unmark them whenever you want. Also, these spaces with the buttons aren't protected so that you can use them as you please. And the same goes for the monthly tracker. You can edit all your habits here. You can also click any of the checkboxes and then you can click on these reset tasks or reset boxes buttons. Oh, I forgot something important too. These two cells here, the year cell where it says 2025 and the month one where it says June right now, aren't protected because you want to choose your month and your year freely, so these two aren't protected. But for the rest of the cells that I didn't mention, they are protected because they are auto calculated, so you won't need to edit anything in those cells. So another important detail is that when you're going to edit your habits either on the weekly view or the monthly view, I highly recommend that you don't copy and paste or cut and paste. I highly recommend that you just write directly on these lines because these cells are combined, and if you copy and paste or cut and paste, that could be messed up. So I highly recommend that you directly write on these cells. For the next thing that I want to show you, and this is the last one before we get into how it actually works, we're going to use the copy that we made for this example that I'm going to show you now. I'm going to show you how you can use these buttons and what they do. So imagine that you created this copy for the month of July 2025. So you can come here and change your month to July. Um, you see that since it's a copy from the previous template, it still has the data from the previous month. So what you can do to get rid of all of these, especially the checkboxes, is use these buttons. So if you click on reset boxes, all these boxes will get unchecked. So if you click here, it's gonna execute, and the first time you are going to execute these buttons, it's going to ask you for permission. So you have to click on accept. Basically, here it says that authorization is required. So you are just going to click on accept, and you will have to accept with your account. With your Google account, you will have to accept that. But as I told you, what it does is that it just unchecks these checkboxes. You will only need to give authorization the first time you execute any of these buttons. But for the next times, for example, let's say I now click a couple of checkboxes here and I reset the boxes, it will automatically do that, as you can see. So the same goes for the reset tasks button. In this case, it will reset all the habits that you have here. Obviously, if you want to use some of them for the next week, in this case, you won't need to use this button. But if you want to start fresh, you can click on that and it will automatically erase all the habits that you had in here. Don't worry about the charts because they will start popping up as soon as you start writing any tasks. And the same goes with these formulas right here. Don't worry about them because as soon as you start filling these with tasks, it will come out. And the same goes for the monthly tracker. Let's say we want to erase or uncheck all these checkboxes, then we are going to click here on reset boxes and they will automatically get unchecked. The same goes for reset tasks. Again, don't worry about these formulas because they're going to correct as soon as you start filling this with information, so don't worry about that. Now let's go into the main dashboard and I'm going to show you how it works. So first we have our weekly tracker. Here at the top we have these drop down menus that we can use for select the year and the month. So for years you have up to 20 years of use, so until 2045. And then as for months, obviously you have all the months of the year here. that you can select any of them. So whenever you select a year and a month, all the sheet is going to adapt itself to what you insert here. Let's say we put 2025 February. So as you can see here on the monthly tracker, it will automatically put this up to 28 days, and also it will update right here, and it will also update here in the weekly tracker. If for example we go to week 4, we will see that it goes up to the 28th, and if we click week 5, obviously it's going to be empty because this month doesn't have a week 5. But going back to June, so that our example matches with what we inserted, here is June. So here we have a top 5 habits of the week. In this case, we're in week 1, so it shows our habits of week 1. If we were on week 2, then it would show the habits on week 2, and the same goes for all the weeks of the month. Then here we have a chart. What we see here in this chart is basically the percentage from 0 to 100, in which how many times we have done each of the tasks. So for example, this first task is the one that appears here first in the chart too. So we can see that this week we have done it 5 times. So that corresponds to the 71% done. So if we did this task every day this week, then it would be 100%. If we didn't do it any day, then it would be 0%, for example. And that goes for all the tasks that you insert in this table. Then if we go to these donut charts here, you can see that we have here the progress of a day. So for example, in Sunday, which is our first day in the table for this month, because day 1 is Sunday in this month, what we can see is that we did 77% of the tasks this day. In Monday, for example, we did a 66% of the tasks, and that goes for all the days. So we can see here that, for example, Saturday was the day that we missed most of our tasks. We only did 22%. So for example, let's say in Saturday I mark more tasks that I've done, so that will get all running, so the progress will be completed, or it will just get updated with the tasks that you complete every day. So right here we have the table where you can write down all of your tasks of the week, up to 10 tasks, and basically you just write them down and you start checking them as the days go by and you accomplish them. You tick them so that you know that you made it, and here at the end the percentage of this task done this week is calculated, as and so does the progress. So this bar is like a graphic way to see this percentage basically. As you can see, if I click more instances of this task, then it will the progress will start running and go up to 100 in this case. I already explained to you the buttons, and also you can switch weeks here, so you can go from week 1 to week 5 of the month, and just track the progress. And as I told you, you can reset the the tasks and the boxes if you wish for every week. A small detail that I wanted to share with you, for example, you see that in this last line I didn't add any task because I didn't have any other task to do this week. So if you click on these checkboxes, this line will remain empty, and also these checkboxes or these percentages won't add to these percentages down here because we don't have this line um, available with any tasks because it's empty. So make sure that you write down a task in each line that you want to count. So, for example, if you have 5 tasks, um, the checkboxes that will work are only the ones that are aligned with those 5 tasks and not more of them. So the ones that are empty in this main list uh, won't count on the checkboxes, as this last one that you see is empty, so it doesn't count. When I click the checkboxes, this percentage remains in 0, and so does these button percentages. They don't increase when I click the checkboxes in this line. Moving on to the monthly tracker, as you can see here, we have 2 charts that I'll explain in a second, and then we have a table really similar to the one that I showed you on the weekly tracker. The only difference is that here you track the whole month, the habits for the whole month, and you have all the month displayed in this chart, basically. What you see in these charts is first of all, you have here a count per day. So for example, the first day of the month we accomplished 9 tasks. The second day we did 8, 10, etc. That's what it shows in this first chart. And then on the second chart, you can see the frequency of each of the tasks that you've done for the month. So for example, this first one corresponds to the first habit that you displayed here. I did this by numbers instead by the names of the habits, because as you can see there's a lot of them and the names didn't fit properly. So here you have 1, so it corresponds to the first habit in the table, then second corresponds to the second one, etc. And here you have a count of the amount of times that you did this task over the month. For example, in the case of the first one is 30 times, in the case of the second one 17, etc. That's the metrics that are on these charts. Now moving on to the table, we have here divided for weeks, so you can see week 1, week 2, week 3, etc. until week 5. Again, you have here up to 20 habits to track, and what is shown in this table is basically the habits that, again, I recommend that you don't copy and paste or cut and paste. I recommend you that you write directly in these cells. So basically here you will add your habits. Here you have the checkboxes that you will check per day as you do these habits. And what you have here is a count of the amount of times that you did each habit in the month. And then you also have this progress bar that, as I mentioned for the weekly table, this does the same basically. When you click a checkbox, it increments the number and also the progress bar until you reach the 100% of this task done this month. The same goes to these numbers down here. This is the amount of tasks that you did this day. So for example, June 1st, we did 9 tasks in this example, and this progress bar again signals the amount of progress that you've made with the tasks on this day. So for example, if I mark all the checkboxes or all the tasks in this day, you'll see that we reached the 100%. Here in the top, you have these progress bars per day, and then the percentage, which matches the progress bar. Also down here, you have the amount of tasks that you have written on the list. So for example, in this case, there are 12 tasks. So as you can see, there's a 12 right here. And also something that I wanted to mention and to explain to you so that you don't get confused is, for example, for this example, we're going to change to February, for example, because it's the month with less days in the year. So if we change to February, you will see that this part adjusts to 28 days because obviously this month doesn't go up to 31. This same thing happens with months that go up to 30 days, that we will, for example, the month will finish in this cell. So what I wanted to explain to you is that when you have a month that doesn't fill up the whole uh, table, these checkboxes, so the ones that are under an empty day, we will call it this way, the checkboxes that are under an empty day cell won't count on the final tasks done number. They won't count also in this count right here because obviously there's no day, like these checkboxes won't add up to any of the percentages, not the tasks done nor the tasks done per day. Uh, and the percentages here also will say empty. And also, as I mentioned on the weekly table, if you don't complete all the tasks in here, the spaces that are empty, for example, this one in line 16, if you click any of these checkboxes here in this line, this count right here at the end and this progress bar won't appear because there's no task assigned to this line basically. And also these checkboxes won't count anything on the tasks done per day, and also they won't count on the percentage of tasks done per day or the progress bars, because again, this cell on this line is empty and it doesn't have a habit. So as you can see, no matter how many checkboxes I click here on the empty habit lines, we will say, no matter how many ones of them I click, they won't do anything in here or in these numbers right here. So a little reminder that I wanted to bring to the table again is that remember that if you reset the tasks or reset the text boxes and you leave all of this empty, these formulas will appear like there's an error in them, but as soon as you write something on the habits, they will work again, so there won't be any problem. Also remember that if there's no information, so no boxes checked or and no tasks in the table, then the charts will appear empty, obviously because there's no information in them. So that's all I think. Uh, so I think that's all that I needed to explain. Also, remind that if you want to use these buttons, the first time that you click on them, it will take a few seconds. Um, Only the first time, okay? The first time it will take uh, like 2 to 5 seconds, maybe a little longer, but it's just the first time. And remember that it's also going to ask you for authorization, so that it can execute the code that empties these cells or these cells depending on the button you click. Make sure you contact me if you have any doubts or any concerns, or if something doesn't work the way it's supposed to. Just make sure you contact me through the Etsy shop, and I will gladly answer your questions or fix anything that needs to be fixed. I hope you found this tutorial helpful, and hopefully you enjoy the habit tracker as much as I enjoyed making it.